Hi, welcome to a new episode of Sportsy Let's Aim Sports. Today we have with us a champion from Mumbai, a former India international team goalkeeper, a former CEO of WIFA, which is the governing body of football in the state of Maharashtra, affiliated to the AIFF, and a deputy chairman to AIFF Technical Committee, Henry Menezes, who actually worked on the whole pyramid of Indian football development. So we are going to hear from him about what it takes to build a pyramid of football development in India. Thank you for watching. Thank you for liking and thank you for sharing. But please do subscribe to our channel Sportsy Sage and help us spread the word about Sportsy. We go with the same handle Sportsy Sage across all social media platforms. Hi Henry, great to have you on our platform Sportsy Let's Aim Sports. We have with us a former India national football team goalkeeper, a former CEO of WIFA, as well as the deputy chairman of AIFF Technical Committee. Phenomenal record and glorious days that we're going to talk about as a player, beyond a player, as an administrator, and what keeps him kicking when it comes to football and grassroots development. So here we have Henry. Thank you, Henry.
Thank you very much, Sid. That introduction was more than enough. Yeah, because it's nice for somebody else to give an introduction. You feel elated, proud, and happy also, because when we talk about history,
Yes.
it's something that we want to recollect and all these memories that come away. So yes, I'm very happy to be on this platform and be in front of you for a man who has done a lot of things for sports. You have been right from marketing to commercializing the entire sport, getting into football, cricket, basketball, and also kabaddi. So I'm very elated to be in front of you. Thank you so much for inviting me.
A glorious administrative career. You saw phenomenal growth of Indian football with as a CEO of WIFA to technical committee of AIFF and all those things. So how do you think what was going right? Yes, we know a lot of things to be done. We are probably not even scratching the surface of where it should be, but at least things were going in some good direction and the grassroots and the pyramid was getting built. So what were the things were happening in Indian football that you feel it started going in the right direction?
Mr. Albert Colasso, who was the General Secretary of All India Football Federation, he called me up one day and said, Mr. Praful Patel wants to meet you. And I go and sit in his office at Worli, and he says that, Henry, we're looking out for a CEO for Maharashtra, and we would like you to take over. And I said, that's like a graveyard. Why do you want me there? It was actually like a graveyard, Coopbridge that time.
Yeah.
And he said, no, you sit down there, observe things 1 or 2 months, and then we will talk about it. So I went to observe things, and things were pretty good for the people who did it, because I won't blame them, because their vision or their thinking, or maybe are restricted to that much only. So I don't want to even talk about that. But at the same time, when I sat down at Coopbridge, I saw that mud ground. Nobody wants to really play international football, or for that matter, state football, or I think in the local league was going on, whose father's what goes, kind of work was going on. They were doing their work, no doubt about that, within the means that they had, but they could not think out of the box, So in 2 months, we tried to figure out many things as to what is happening wrong, what is happening right. We started creating an asset book, stating that what we can do, what we cannot do, things like that. So I was sitting down, nothing to do actually, because the state had no work to do except the junior district competition or senior district competition. Nothing else was in their hands to do, and they used to always do the iLeague. If there is an iLeague team in Mumbai, they used to be proxy to that and hand over the stadium and manage it for them. So when I came down to WIFA, first thing was that we had a very old badge, badge was a symbol of WIFA, which was 100 years old, which had Bombay on it and all such things. And I asked, can I change the logo of the WIFA? And boss said, okay, if you think it can make some difference, do it. So I changed the logo to a strong WIFA with a football which has Maharashtra in it. And myself, I felt that this looks like strong pillars, very strong words that I put up, because I saw FIFA, which was very strong in their wordings, and I put WIFA, also very strong with the color of orange and blue, and which actually was good and people liked it, and I just changed it. And once you change, it looks as if some new thing is going to happen over here. And in 2 months, I think we went to Zurich, and Mr. Praful Patel, we signed up a document with FIFA for goal project and Win in India project. There are two projects that we signed up. One was to make the ground artificial, and the other one was for the stadium and the floodlights. So it was quite cool, when you get 14 crore rupees, that is 140 million. You get that kind. 14, how much? 14 crore rupees. So when you get that kind of money, you feel that, boss, it's big money. But when you went to design it, it was very small, because we had to make a stadium, put up the artificial lights. The lights used to cost us 3.75 crores out of the 14 crores. The stadium cost X amount of money, and the ground had to be costing X amount of money, 5.5 crores. So we had to make the entire thing. So we made it very smartly. We called Shashi Prabhu, who has made Balewadi also.
Yeah.
That guy came in, we made the entire plan, and said, okay, 5,000 spectators is good enough for Mumbai. It looks full. And we put all the amenities under the stadium, plus on the side, the dressing rooms. We made it AFC compliant. Okay. And before making that, we had a lot of litigations on Cooperage ground, and nobody was allowing us to do any construction. Why I'm saying this is 1986, they had put up a foundation stone saying that a stadium will be coming up in 6 to 8 months in 1986.
Wow.
In 2011, Henry Menezes, who has put his sweat and blood on Cooperage for football, playing football, is sitting down there to make the Cooperage Stadium. How beautiful it was for me. Who would get a chance like this? And I'm really praising God that, this is one of the best things that has happened to my life, that I could be there designing the stadium and being there while the stadium was built, and brought in the iLeague again back to Cooperage. So the interesting part of that was, during that time, I made my visits to more than 21, I think it was 20 to 21 districts, because I knew Nagpur, Kolhapur, Pune, and Mumbai. But other than that, I went there. Being a Shiv Chhatrapati Awardee is a good amount of attraction to media journalists. And wherever I went, media followed me, and I said, इधर तो कुछ भी नहीं होएगा, इधर कुछ नहीं होगा. But sir, हमारे पास तो बच्चे लोग हैं, हमारे पास ground है. And I was very happy that other than Mumbai, you get grounds everywhere. हमारे पास ground है, सब कुछ. कोच ही नहीं है तो क्या होगा? There is no coaches. How are you going to develop this place? And the newspaper used to put that. And everybody were, saying, Henry, तुम ऐसा कैसा बात करते थे? Why are you talking about that? I said, that's the fact. And that's the time that everybody started moving. This is 2011-12 we are talking about. And that's the same time when ISL was getting conceptualized.
Right.
And Mr. Praful Patel involved me in one of the meetings which happened at Oberoi, where IMG UK and the AIFF technical executive committee, Praful Patel, Mr. Mukesh Ambani, everybody were there in that meeting. And I raised a question was, sir, there are no coaches in the state of Maharashtra. We have got only 45 coaches. For 120 crore population, we have 45 coaches. So nobody understood the thing that I was trying to say. So I said 45 में से 8 के 9 कोच महिंद्रा के पास है, 9 कोच एयर इंडिया के पास है, 4 कोचेस यूनियन बैंक और सेंट्रल रेलवे, वेस्टर्न रेलवे के पास है, बिकॉज दे हैव टू हायर क्वालिफाइड कोचेस. और बाकी 3-4 कोच है वो पूरा बटा हुआ है, मतलब दे आर ऑल अवे. सो if you go to see, there are only 5 to 6 teams that have got coaches. The entire state does not have coaches. So what do you want us to do? I said, we need to have an indigenous coaching program. And that's the time Mr. Praful Patel said, Henry, what is in your mind? I said, I want to make a curriculum with the help of All India Football Federation. We'll roll out the indigenous program. So Praful Patel and Mr. Mukesh Ambani that time said, "You both acha idea hai, jane do, karo." And that's the time, I would say that's the time that we put a stepping stone for Indian football at the grassroots level. D license was inaugurated at Cooperage, where myself, I remember one girl from UK was there. She was doing an internship with me, Sauter was, myself, Prashant Godbole, and one more guy, Ronak Dalal, myself. We all sat down together with Gabriel Joseph, who was the technical director of, was a coaching director of All India Football Federation. And they created the entire thing and they said, Henry, now what we will do? So I said, let's get all the B and A licensed coaches to become instructors. So Mumbai had 12 of them, B license and A license.
Wow.
So we picked up everybody and we bought them. There were two of them from Kerala. Memol, who's the national team coach for women's, she was there as an instructor. And we had one guy from Assam or somewhere who came in. And there were about 20, 21 or 22 first instructors. Santosh Kashyap, Khalid Jamil, you name them, Akil, all these big players were a part of that and they all gali de rahe uधर को. Why? Because I charged 10,000 rupees there for them for instructors coaching course, for the course. So I said, I'll give you back this money. Don't worry about that because you will do courses and I will give you back in installments. And you may earn more than this. So they were all very, very upset with me, but at the same time, they were very happy that they got an instructor's badge, which came in as the first time in India. And that's the time we opened up for D license. And we had written to all the districts, schools, colleges and all, and clubs, stating that through the districts, stating that in 3 years, you all should have a licensed coach. Now, what happened? In management term, we say demand supply. If you create the demand, the supply will definitely be there. Otherwise, we used to keep, AIFF used to keep a license for C license. We used to have struggled to have 24 players. And here, Henry Menezes has introduced a D license with a demand stating that we are giving you 3 years. Every team that is a school, college, or club must have a licensed coach.
Right.
And once I open it up, say 500 applications came.
Oh, wow.
We don't know how to deal with it. Everybody wants to be. Now it becomes the order of the day. So we got in we made 250 coaches in about 1.5 months because we used 6 or 7 locations to do that. And from there, the moment started.
Wow.
Now, what happened was that I said nothing to do free because free, everybody points out the finger to me stating that Henry, coaching license ke liye paisa leta hai, you're taking money for coaching license is not good enough. I said, no, sir, the point is not about the money. The point is about commitment. Right. How do I get commitment if they don't pay? If they pay even 1 rupee, they will be committed. And that's how we started with 3,500 rupees. But over the period of time, everybody wanted their share into that and the money started moving up. No doubt, everybody benefited from it because my first lecture in that course used to be, is football a business or no? Oh, and wow. You would see, nobody used to put their hands up. And I said, if you don't create this as a business, you becoming a coach will never go back to that ground the next day because you need cones, you need markers, you need whips, you need a ground, you need a helper, you need some balls. Who's going to pay for that? So you take a small amount of money from the kids to sustain your center, and you would be a full-fledged coach. You can experience that. And I would say that, I'm very proud to say that we must have made 6,500 or maybe 5,500 coaches in D license in Maharashtra. About 3,000 grassroots leaders, which come up. If you collect both of them, 8,500 coaches. Wow. In Maharashtra, every district will not go to say that I don't have a coach now. Every district might have some D license coaches, some grassroots leaders over there. Now the E license has opened up.
Yeah.
And the D license was opened so that people don't fail C license. Mm-hmm. So they get experience to do it. I don't know why E license is on now because D license is our own license. Yeah. But yeah, considering the fact if India has got 100% coaches X amount, 65% to 70% comes from Maharashtra because we did that work. And
Wow.
we always told the coaches that you are our pillars because I cannot train more than 30 to 40 players.
Right.
But if I have 30 to 40 coaches, you will go out and play and train 4,000 coaches. Just imagine if I have 8,000 coaches, what's the kind of people that they're going to train? At least 400,000 or 500,000 coaches, 500,000 players are there in that. Everybody working on a standardized program. The coaches can always variate their programs, but standardized basic to be taught. Maybe out of the 100%, 20 to 25% must have not gone back to the ground. But yeah, 70 to 75% people are earning their livelihood through this license. And I'm happy because of that, because that's what we need to teach our community, that if you can't really reach out to become a great player or a great administrator, you can become a good coach and you can earn through it. At the same time, I started off the diploma in football management, which went out very successfully. First year, we had 48 students, and then we went out. The pandemic has broken us down. But interestingly is that there were other mode of movement, other than football. So when we talk about football international match, there are 1,500 people behind the scene working for making that a success. And you could be one of them. So that was the actual idea, and the analysis bit, also the analysis courses, also analyst to become an analyst. We brought out that course. We brought out some physical psychologists to come up to tell the importance of psychology, and people who are into arts or science can become good psychologists. We could have become good physiotherapists. So earlier, I think it took us so many years to bring physiotherapists on board as a team member. And I think it's now about 6 to 7 or 8 years, maybe 2007, more, it could be a decade now that people are having a physiotherapist. But how many of them have got a psychologist? How many of them have got an analyst? We're still backward on that front, but I think slowly and steadily we are moving up. The point was, make coaches, make the base strong.
Yes.
So more number of kids started coming in. At the technical committee of All India Football Federation, we always spoke about the gap between school football and club football, which was something that many of them could not understand. And we said that we need to introduce age group teams in such a way that we bridge the gap so that the kid in the school is still interested in the game, even if he goes out of the school, because he plays for the same club.
Right.
So that was the idea of it. And I think AIFF did a fantastic job of getting the under 13s, the under 15s, the under 18s, and that too in the competitions of the highest level. And moreover, they started putting in compliances so that you fish out the best teams to come and play the top level. Not only that, but what happens is that there may be lots of centers around the country, around the state, around the district, or around the region. But what happens, every player wants to play at the highest point in their region or district and state. And that's why iLeague became very important for us, as you have like your rising Pune FC could be one team that is showing an eliteness on top, and everybody wants to be motivated to go there. So we have a team in the under 15 and under 18 and under 13 and the grassroots program. So the baby leagues also came up. And I think once you have the resources, India is short of resources. And that's the reason why we fall to right from the administration part to the game part. Our resources are very few. And that's the reason we fall behind. Number two is that we have a very honorary structure on the program or in the states, and that also is a little bit of a disadvantage, because if they're not interested, then there's no interest. If there is interest, then there is big bang. That's what happened in WIFA from 2011 to up till now. There was a good amount of interested people into the game, somebody to lead. So I always believe that if a state has a body, it should have a professional secretariat. If you have a professional secretariat who directly is in touch with the president of the organization, things move more better. And you have the secretary who looks after the entire uh, entire districts and all such activities that go on, because there is huge amount of activities. Today, you want to make a kid come to play the state association or play for his state, but I don't want him to go in an unreserved compartment. How does he come back to the ground?
Yeah.
So what we did in 2011-12 was, there was the first grassroots program which I saw, so tiny tots, 11, 12-year-old kids coming with their parents and all such things. And I'm struggling over here because we had 5,000 rupees in the bank and don't know how to deal with this. And I've been told to look after this association. And the best part was the president was very, very clear that if you need anything, let me know.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a guiding force, like always keeping you going. So I sat down one day, sitting down there and making a Facebook account for WIFA. That was my first thing, because I could click pictures, put it on it, and show that so many kids are here. There is that, parents are thoda bahut clicking down there. That was my first start of showing the world that WIFA is here to play. And that was the time when one of the parents who came to me and said that, boy, what do you want? So I said, I want to have a website, but we don't have that kind of money. How much does it charge? I said 50,000. So he said, see, my son is playing here. His name is so-and-so. So he went outside, came back with a check of 50,000 rupees. I thought he's giving me a bribe. So I went and asked the coach, how is this boy here? Hey, sir, that boy is our captain boy. He's like a captain. He's a very talented boy. Problem nahi. So I was thinking that whether he is giving me a bribe or whether he is really giving me that kind of money. So he helped me to put up the WIFA's website. Wow. And that's how we started off showing off, that we have a very good structure and things like that. And that year, we sent our players by flight to Calcutta.
Wow.
And those kids till today don't forget that, because now also I'm talking about, they must have become now 22, 23 years old. They always say, my first encounter with the state was going by flight. And I did not know from where the money came in, but yeah, somebody paid for it. So it was the intent that was I want to see that the kids fall in love with the game. Yes. And they stay with the game. And that's something that at the young age we need to do with the kids. And that's the reason why, if our D license is successful, is because of the coaches who take care of the kids. Because we always talk to the coaches to say, your personality has been followed by the players, the young players. They always look at you. You may not notice that you're wearing a Levi's jeans or a Woodland ka shoes, or you are in a Mercedes Gadi ka number 727. But the kids always know. I did not know my Gadi ka number bhaiya, the MHO2 hota hai, and beech mein hota hai, wo hota hai. But the kids, the coaches, everybody knew what I wore last week, what I'm wearing next week. With that interview, what did I wear? Everybody knew everything. So that's how a leader should be, Right. So people should follow you in such a way that, yeah, you lead through examples. So yeah, this is how the system came in. The pyramid started forming in, but unfortunately, I just could not complete the pyramid, because I had started off with saying that let's have the League, the Maharashtra League. Yeah. And the Maharashtra League, I wanted to comply by having 4 teams from Mumbai, 2 teams from Pune, 2 teams from Nagpur, and 2 teams from Kolhapur. So this was that 10 teams ka ek elite program banana tha. But unfortunately, that did not work on, and there were so many people thinking that apan nahi kar sakte. Otherwise, I think with the coaches, the acceleration of coaching happened very quickly. People started graduating into C license and B license and A license. That was also wonderful. Today we have many top coaches. I think Khalid Jamil, Santosh Kashyap, and then Musa. These are all players who are Stephen Dias, who are in the ISL teams. Yes. So it is fantastic for us. Proud to be that 4 of our coaches are there. And also, we can say that we have not got any team in the iLeague. Once upon a time, there used to be a fight that reduced the teams from Mumbai or Maharashtra. Yeah. Because there are so many teams. And now we don't have, it is shy that we don't have any teams, but it's not their fault because they also don't see a light behind the tunnel. So they have restricted themselves from getting into professional football. But Mumbai City is the lone flag bearer, and I think they're doing pretty well. And they really made us proud by winning the ISL.
Correct. And it's so good about the whole journey that you're talking about, from like talking to Praful Patel and Mukesh Ambani that we have only 45 coaches, to having a pool of 8,000, 9,000 coaches created over the period. I think that itself is the foundation of the whole pyramid that you're talking about, from that level, because those coaches are going to train the kids. The kids are going to, from participate to competitive to elite. That is the pyramid that they are going to get through. It is that is a vision and is execution, which is the only thing that can drive out of passion. So your whole passion.
Let me tell you one thing over here, because I forgot about this. Talking about women's football, and women's football was sometimes a distant dream for anybody, because there were only 6 to 8 districts who used to participate earlier. I'm talking about 8-10 years back. And when we started going into districts, started making them play small-sided games and all that, I remember girls coming in burqas and all that and saying that हमको भी खेलना है, लेकिन हम short pant नहीं पहन सकते. So we allowed them to put the hijab, we allowed them to put the salwar kameez, and we said, you have the shoes, you can go out and play. And the transition over a period of time, today we have 28 districts participating in the women's tournament. And that's highly commendable with all the districts, because they took it up to say that, okay, it's okay to not be okay, we say, in the dressing form, but we allowed them to play. And that's a beauty. Those stories we cannot really forget, because India or Maharashtra, if you look at the interior, is very conservative. And being a conservative and girl child to get out, become a coach or become a player is something very difficult. But I think a little bit of media and a little bit of PR for these girls really will bring out sense awareness in that region, and more girls will want to play.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I was, in fact, my whole talk show started with Adi Chauhan.
Okay.
And so my first ever episode was with Adi Chauhan. And that is what we talk about, right? It's all about having the role models. It's about like her dedication, right? It's not about being the best. It's about putting out there and making sure that there are heroes and sheroes to be followed. And I think you gave a platform for those to be created. See, they will get created, it will happen, but the foundation was laid, and that was, I was talking about the whole passion for developing this game. And this actually, the administrative skills of planning and execution come because of playing sport at sincerely. So my one question to you, Henry, is what is that sports taught you which actually you implemented so well in administration?
See, we always go out to enjoy the game first. Okay. We don't go as a test. Correct. Because if you go as a test, I think we are all bullakad guys. Test ke liye jayega to fail ho jayega. But if you go to enjoy the game, because of the sheer attitude, sheer attitude that you have, that you want to win. Both the teams come on the ground to win, and the one who desires the most gets it. That's what is that's what is said in the writings, but we have experienced it. So I think I would give a tick mark to that writing, saying that the desire to win is very important, number one. And once you get into the game, there are so many things that the game has taught us. First of all, before getting into it, your game starts 1.5 days before you go on the ground. You start thinking about it. There's a good amount of planning from the coaches. There is discussion between players. There are so many things that you like to put forward. You want to give suggestions. That अरे वो player चीमा होके लिए आज वो left से बहुत अच्छा मारता है, उसका left side block करना पड़ता है. So these are talking between the players. You're talking with the coach is totally different. Sir, coach बोलेगा, coach in the goal, in the corner kicks or something, we want one player extra in the goal. So these are the strategies that you build up, because once we're talking about you get involved in it, you start owning it. So the ownership comes within it. And when it comes to execution, you close your eyes and you know what to execute. And And that's the beauty of it. And most of the professional management companies or professional companies falter to do that because of ownership.
Right.
Once the design is made, or the blueprint has been created in the mind, which happens 1.5 days before for that match, is stuck in your mind. You close your mind, you open your mind, you can see the same thing, whether your eyes are closed or your eyes are open. And that's how you approach a game. And what happens is that once you win, the victory is short-lived. Boss, in 3 days' time, we have to play another match. We don't know whether you're going to win or whether you're going to lose. And you start again from a zero.
Right.
This is what exactly I told my boss when I was in Mahindra. And he said, what the bloody hell? We are paying so much money. We should be winning by 3 goals or 6 goals. I said, Are, 3 goal mara ya 6 goal mara? You're going to get 3 points only, na? Or we hit 1 goal also, we get 3 points only. Well, you don't tell me you have to win. I put so much money, so you have to win by 6 goals. I said, sir, if you give me to make Scorpio, I'll make 10,000 Scorpio. Same type, same color, same everything. Nothing can go wrong. These are human minds. It has to be treated differently. It's on moods and emotions. So I am saying that when you ask me about my passion and how it has taught me to own it up, first of all. The ownership comes within, when you're, and when you're going, you're creating also something. So, you're creating a move, you're creating a pass, you're creating everything that you're doing is a creative, because you're not going to do 2 things again and again. It's a very rare thing that on a ground you will pass, you will never have the same situation again.
Yeah.
But that's the beauty of it, because once you design something outside the ground, coach has made a strategy, it sticks into your mind. What is your role? It sticks into your mind. Sanjay, what is the role of the team? It sticks into the mind. The ball is with the opponent, what we must do. Ball is with us, what we must do. We have got all probabilities or ready for us. And that's how the teaching comes in. And when I got out from the sport to the management, and what I have to do, create a team. Come on, get involved in it. Try to take the ownership of it. You exactly know how to strategize. If you want a striker, what kind of striker, what kind of a player? If you want to do something, what kind of thing? What kind of fans you want? What kind of spectators you're expecting? What kind of ticket price you want to keep? Do you want your team to have advertisement on a T-shirt? All these things, you can create in a jiffy. That's the reason why we say in the Formula One racing is always used as an example for management when you talk about how fast in seconds they change all the 4 tires. So sports teaches a lot, as well as it creates a lot of happiness. It creates a lot of joy, and creates sometimes sadness. Emotions go up and down. So I'm very happy to answer this question, because we don't see this happening in day-to-day life.
Yeah.
It's the ownership, the creation that you do, and get totally involved in it, and you exactly know what you want out of it.
Interesting. So Henry, my last question to you is, what is the message that from a player who became accidental goalkeeper to an administrator who came out of the mental thing about I was at top and now where did I go? From there to coming into administrator, going into some other industry, coming back, developing so many things. It's their accolades, and it's so amazing to hear those. Though I said that was my last question, I have one more question. Because of the whole pyramid that we're talking about, what is your message to the grassroots development administrators and the coaches about how they can actually develop football as a game?
Well, I think it's important to be a friend on the field than to be a coach. And I feel the pressures that we think that are given to the players nowadays has to be minimalized, because kids are there to enjoy the game, and you are there to make them enjoy the game. And competition, winning or losing, is not the part of the system at all. That's what should go in the coach's mind. I know many coaches want to be seen as taskmasters, but they can be with the elite teams. But at the ground level, you must allow kids to be very much, though they should be disciplined, whatever that is, they will always follow the coach. So if you can make them enjoy the game, they will fall in love with the game. And we want people to fall in love with the game. Once they fall in love with the game, there's nothing that can stop them from achieving what they want.
Excellent. Excellent, Henry. I think nothing better could have been discussed on this, from a player, a goalkeeper, to an administrator and a successful guy who has actually created a pyramid for Indian football. It's phenomenal talk to you, Henry. Thank you for your time. Wish you all the best and stay safe.
Thank you very much. I'm really happy to be on this platform, and thank you for asking some very valid, sensible questions. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you, Henry. Thank you for watching. Thank you for liking and thank you for sharing. But please do subscribe to our channel Sportsy Sage and help us spread the word about Sportsy. We go with the same handle Sportsy Sage across all social media platforms.